Hello, welcome. This is Maniac Tim with Maniac Sports. How's everybody doing tonight? I still don't understand what happened. I'm still in shock. This is something that never should have happened. The Lions never should have went in there flat. Uh, they should have been more prepared for a divisional opponent, a divisional rival. Minnesota has through the years has been a kink in our side. You never take anybody in your own division lightly. And so now the Detroit Lions are now 2-1 in the NFC North. 2-1. How can we as Lions fans claim to be king of the NFC North if the Lions keep losing to NFC North teams? Green Bay lost. This would have been a great opportunity for the Lions to be on top of the NFC North by a half game. But no, they dropped the ball, and let alone they let the uh, Minnesota Vikings come in our own in our own Ford Field and take it to us. What the heck? Hey, how's it going? How's it going, Megan? How's it going? Yeah, your Seahawks look great. Your Seahawks went ahead and yeah, Seattle's hey, they're on this year. Uh they're doing great. Uh it's just yeah, the 12s sure enjoyed seeing those Commanders knocked down again. Um they have a great road record. They have a great record this year in the in the NFC. I mean, it's just they're on the way to definitely winning that division. Things keep going their way. Uh, yeah, you would have. I would have told you only 5 weeks, 6-3. Yeah, 5 weeks, 6-3. Yeah, right. And I mean that's true. I mean they are doing great. Yeah, it's not. But 6-3. I mean that's good. I know they've had a couple of blowout wins. This wasn't even close. The Commanders are not what they were last year. Uh, Jaden Daniels, uh, you guys, why was he kept in that long after the game was already lost? But if you also look at it, who pulls their quarterbacks? You know, even when it's odds off. So yes, but Jalen Daniels just coming off injury a couple weeks ago, and then to be re-injured. Hey, Lions play them next week. We know what Jalen Daniels did to the Lions in Jalen Daniels as well as the company of the Commanders did to the Lions in the playoffs. Oh, those memories are too still real. Yeah, yeah, I that's true. Uh, but once again, I mean, this is not. We're not playing touch football here. You know, this is a collision sport. I mean, I hate to see when a great talent like that gets injured. Let alone, I mean, anybody gets injured like that. That is really bad. And from what I heard, that could be even if he keeps getting injured, like we see and stuff like that, his career could be short. I mean, I mean, if his and that's one thing about Washington though. If you look at some of the great quarterbacks, that have played for Washington, they have gotten injured so badly, and it's, I mean, if you look at it, way back when Joe Theismann had that compound fracture, right on the field, and, you know, of course, there's been others too. So it's, this is not a sport to be taken lightly. This is a sport that a lot of injuries can happen. Very true. I couldn't work out why he was still in there. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I know it's really seemed funny why they would still have him in there, but I mean, he's a competitor, but especially when he's coming off an injury, you know, why would you chance it when the game's already over? Pretty much. The game is already over. So why would you still have him? Yeah, that's true. And he's, I'm sure he wanted to be in there, but sometimes you got, and it isn't like he was going to break a record, you know. I, it isn't like he was in there to break a record or anything like that. So, but of course that was one of those deals where, I guess he wanted to play till the last, the last second. Unfortunately, decisions, and if he looks at it in hindsight, if his coach looks at it in hindsight, they're going to look at it and say, well, why were they? But we can't predict injuries, But when it's all over, heck, and I mean, Jaden Daniels did for what the Commanders, last year. I mean, the Commanders are a very different team without Jalen Daniels. Very different team. Yeah, that's my point. Game well done and truly over. Mike Mack yanked Sam and put Drew Lock in. Yep, for the same reason. True. You want to protect your assets when when the thing is over. You definitely, it wasn't like it was a Lions game where Jared Goff was still in there. I mean, the reason Jared Goff was still in there, the Lions still had a chance to win. That's why Jared Goff was still in there. I mean, it's, and of course, luckily we didn't get, he didn't get injured. Now, Minnesota. Lions and Minnesota. OMG. What the blankety blank. Oh, I mean, I don't know. There's something missing from the Lions this year. There is, I mean, it is just so freaking, I mean, I don't know. It was, yeah, our offensive line is banged up. I mean, I cannot blame this loss on penalties, even though there was some questionable, but still, it's like, oh my God. Hey, Kevin. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. When you get blocked, but of course they could have went for a field goal. I mean, and if you also look at when the Lions gave up a lot of Minnesota didn't score unless they were in scoring position to start out the game or to start out the drives. So it wasn't like they had long drives. But, Lions made a lot of key mistakes at key times. Lions, I mean, some of those, yeah, it's like, what the hell? And that's kind of why I named the show or this episode, What the Hell? But I'm sorry, I gotta look at the offensive line, and you also gotta look at the banged up defensive secondary. They did not play. Minnesota came and they swarmed Goff from the beginning. They cut out the running game. They, and that was their weakness, and the Lions could not expose their weakness. Because they were weak against the run in previous games. But they figured, they figured just go in there. I mean, they won as a team that's, oh gosh, and key mistakes, that kept drives going for the for the Vikings, at key moments, blocked field goal, fumbles, and then of course, there was, we had Lions had some oh gosh. Lions just went ahead. They were kind of like the silver shoot yourself in the foot offense. I mean, and like I said, this would have been a perfect time to pull ahead. Now, one thing the Lions cannot do, just because Jaden Daniels is out, the Lions cannot go into freaking Washington next week and just go ahead and think they have it sold up. Sure, the Lions have not lost 2 in a row in forever, if you look at it, but still it's possible, Lions need to get their acts together. I mean, I heard people calling for Johnny Morton's head as far as for, some of the play calling and stuff like that. I mean, was it that, or was it just that the Minnesota defense was that damn good this time? I mean, it is what it is. It's a reality. Minnesota defense had us figured out, and it took a while for the Lions defense to get Minnesota figured out. I mean, like I said, a lot of the scores was when they were down in our in our side of the ball to start with, whether it was with run backs or stuff like that. Whether I mean, now that we did get it good where we were able to stop them on the run, or where they got holding caught, and that one was called back. That would have been a touchdown. But we had that David Montgomery fumble that was knocked out. Vikings really needed that win. Who the fuck cares? So did the Lions. I'm sorry. The Lions needed that win just as much as the Vikings. And I'm not going to apologize for my language, because I'll tell you what. where it comes to my Lions, shoot. Look. Oh, Kansas City needed a win against the Lions. They couldn't fall to that. No, you stop that team. You stop that team that's trying to beat you. Yes, the Vikings needed that. This is, every sportscaster will tell you that you got to win in November and December in order to get into that playoffs, in order to be dominant. Now, right now, the Lions are 1-2 in the NFC North. The Lions are also 0-1 in November. So they just got to get their ass out of, or their head out of their ass and just figure it out, All right. Apologize for cursing at me, man. Oh yeah. So yeah, we know what brings out the maniac in me as the Lions lost to a division opponent, which okay, if you look at it, another thing that really irks me, okay. Yes, JJ McCarthy, I like the kid. I liked him when he played in Michigan. That was great. But if you look at it in all reality, he's a rookie. Yes, he's a second-year quarterback, but he's a rookie quarterback. And the Lions, again, lost to a rookie quarterback. Back when Sam Darnold was with the Jets, they lost to a rookie quarterback. You can't be doing that and being a good team. All right. Dominate like the Seahawks, LOL. Just kidding. Yeah, I had to go ahead and rub it in there. Just turn those wheels. Who do we have next week? We have the team that you guys just beat. We have the Commanders next week. So, hey, your team might have just kind of helped us out by knocking Jalen Daniels out. Because I doubt he's going to play next week, but who knows? Oh, boy. Well, it's... See, I like dominance, okay? And this is what... Last year, the Lions was undefeated in the NFC North. Everybody knows it, okay? They were undefeated on the road. Their two losses came, at home. But this year, they have lost 2 away game and 1 at home. So there's no, but now they just cannot have a losing streak, and they gotta get those Commanders. If you can't beat them, something is badly wrong. Yeah, just turn those wheels a little bit more. Just turn them a little bit more. But yeah. But is that Washington? It's at Washington. And what did you say about Minnesota? Okay, you just said Minnesota needed a win. Well, damn, you know what? Washington needs a win too. And that's why you cannot underestimate your opponent. You cannot. Plus, Washington has a great track record against the Lions. That's one thing you got to look at over the years, over the lifetime of this rivalry. Washington has, way back when they were the Deadskins, Redskins, whatever the heck, they took in 2 of our playoff games, all right, they took the Lions out, way back In the 90s, they took us out. And, of course, last year, they took us out. So, I mean, it's like, oh, boy. But, yeah, I mean, thank you. But, I mean, I'm also somebody that likes to beat a team at their best. Then it proves that you are the better. I mean, that is one of the things, that is, if you, but of course, we're not full strength. We have a lot of our, a lot of our quarterbacks that are gone, and it's so we're weekend too, and the game planning that Minnesota done. Man, I could bitch slap him for doing that shit, but get that. Yeah, that's true. But Lions over the last few years they did a lot to change the image of who they were. I mean, they were the rundown laughing stock of the NFL. I don't want to see them go back to that. And I mean, rivalries. I mean, I don't care. Any NFC North team is a rivalry. And then, you got those teams that are a rivalry. And then you have, I mean, if you look at other than the, then the NFC North teams that I really dislike is, of course, the Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys. Because those have been rivalries that have really, really just been a thorn in our side. So, if you look in the Detroit Lions side, so it's it's, and of course we have Dallas, or we have the Commanders, we have the Eagles that we're going to be playing. We have the Rams. There's so much, and and I'll tell you what, the Rams have really became like a rivalry too, because hey, if you look at, I mean, yes, there were some Detroit fans that was kind of like, that was their secondary team and stuff like that when Stafford was traded to the Rams. But I'll tell you what, the Rams are kind of like that rivalry to us now, because it's Rams are a good team. I mean, now there's no love lost between Detroit and Matthew Stafford, because I mean the way, when Matthew Stafford got booed in Detroit and stuff like that, and Matthew Stafford really, once we kind of beat him out of the playoffs that year, was he rooting for us? No. So you know what? I'm not rooting for the Rams anymore. I know the Rams won this week, stuff like that, and Lions got to go to LA and play them this season too. So, I mean, there's just, and it's not going to be easy, Lions do not have an easy schedule this year. And it's, and of course they were, of course, the NFC, top seed last year. So that's one of the reasons you don't have that easy schedule. And most of the hard games, Commanders are at the Commanders. Eagles are at the Eagles. I know Dallas does come to us, and we're also at the Rams. You know, so and then we still got Minnesota in their home. Which it's not that's not going to be easy. Uh, you know things, and one of the things we've been lacking on is the dominance of the offense. Is that high potency, the things that's going, and if they can get to where they're peaking, and one of the things that Grandizer 12 has, which I'll tell you, I hope he's all right. I ain't heard from him in forever. But one of the things that Grandizer 12 did say, he asked me last year if I thought that the Lions peaked too early last year, because they won so many of the earlier games, and then they lost a few later on. Well, of course, you lost. They lost the second game last year, and then they lost the one against the Bills, and of course, but hey, now's the time when they got to start peaking. I mean, and Dan Campbell has talked about that they're not doing everything right. They were playing good, but they're not, before the game. And then they come up and, they come to this game and they freaking lay an egg. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they wasn't shut out, but, still the offense was not what it was supposed to be. We cannot blame this on the refs, like you did on Kansas City, where the refs were clearly for Kansas City against the Lions. You can't say that here, because I mean, yes, a lot of the calls went Minnesota's way and stuff like that, but the Lions should have been able, the it wasn't the refs that knocked the ball out of Montgomery's hands. It wasn't the refs that went ahead and blocked the field goal. You know, so there's and so many. There was a lot of quarterback sacks on golf. That came at crucial times. The Lions' offense was not clicking. And at key times. And then the defense went ahead and just, made some stupid penalties. I mean, yes, that second roughing the passer call, at one time that would have been legal, but it wasn't legal there. But hey, yeah, I'm glad your team won, Megan. Who knows? But you guys could still be playing us in the playoffs. If we might need to be going to your guys' home the way you guys are playing compared to the way that we are playing. We'll find out where we'll end up going. Oh, you're welcome. And I guess so that coaching change that they made a couple years ago, man, it's working out for you guys, and you guys were smart enough to go ahead and see the value that Sam Darnold could give you guys. Brought him in. I mean, the guy's working on all cylinders right now. So and heck, he had. I mean, last year Sam Darnold had Minnesota right into it till the last game of the year. So until the last game. Yeah, the last game of the year was Sam Darnold had him in. Okay, yeah, talk to you soon. Yeah, I'll tell you, he's definitely doing good. I mean, damn, you know, damn. That's all you can say. You know, is I mean, it's Carthy's do, yeah. You know, it's and his hands ain't tied here. You know, I mean, you know, you don't have a owner like, uh, oh man, okay, uh, yeah, I don't want to get too much into. Now, is there anything that you want uh you want out of the free agency before the trade deadline or not? But yeah, I do want to thank Kevin for coming on. I want to thank Megan. Yeah, you guys awesome, man. Awesome joining me on my stream. Appreciate it. Uh, guard. and yeah. And TJ Hawkinson kind of came back to hurt us. You know, that trade, the trade. Uh, so really, he did. I mean, he had one of those touchdowns. Yeah, no tackle for the love of Pete. yeah, I can see that. Uh, I have not been streaming during the games because I've been watching most of the games. Well, all the games this year that I have seen, I was unable to see the the last Monday night game. I was unable to see that one, against Tampa Bay. But every every other every game that I've seen, I've been watching at the cinema, uh, our movie house here in Muskegon. They can't sell the tickets, but they go ahead and they have a one of the theaters. Uh, they let basically every Lions game is on there. So I've been going to the theater. I mean, like I said, they can't charge us. They still make money off popcorn and stuff like that too. Uh, whatever other food or drinks you may have. I'll tell you what. At one point, I was thinking about taking a shot anytime the Lions won. You know, after I got done um, at the game, come home, take buy a bottle of whiskey and just take a darn shot anytime the Lions, the Lions. Oh God, uh, anytime the Lions won. But today I was thinking, man, sometimes I think I should just go ahead and drink a whole damn bottle when they lose. But of course, that won't be good for work next day. Oh gosh. So basically, the the Bears and the Vikings were the ones that won in the NFC North. This and do I like the Bears? No, I mean, they're like the Bears over some of the other teams. Yes, but it's still an NFC rival, NFC North rival. I do got some fans that are some friends that are Bears fans from Bears Country podcast. And of course Jim's widow is a Bears fan, and also one of my friends, Tim Reardon, his wife is a Bears fan because she's from Illinois. She's so I, but it's I mean it's really I mean I have said this in the past. Okay, I have said this in the past. I don't mind that Ben Johnson got another job, that he got his own coaching career. But I just don't like that it was with a divisional rival like the Bears. You know, people thought it was unkind of the booze that he got when the Bears came to Ford Field the second game of the year. But hell, he left us high and dry to go to a rival. You know, it's different than what Aaron Glenn did. You know, now granted, so far Ben Johnson has been good for the Bears. In a few years, who knows what the Bears are going to be like? You know, one of the things that I have noticed is missing is the quality of trick plays. You know, when Ben Johnson offense, when the Lions offense did the trick plays back when he was our coordinator, there was no question. You know, there's no question about illegal procedure or anything like that. Where we have had, there's been the trick plays have been very few and far between, and not as creative. And then we had one that kind of cost us a touchdown too. So it's uh, do I like Johnny Morton's offense? I think it lacks excitement. Now, it could be, it could be just that the defense of the Vikings was that damn good. It could be, but and it could be also with Frank Ragnow's retirement and stuff like that. That very well could be. But at the same time, you look at the excitement is not there. The fun just doesn't seem to be there this year. And so I don't know. And we still have Lions still have some big games left. Every team that we play against, the rest of the season, they can. I mean, I'm not 100% sure that we're going to beat the Bears next time. It's at Chicago, where where the Bears are developing. Who knows how Caleb Williams will be then? Hopefully we'll have our shit together. All right. Well, in saying that, we've been going about 40 minutes now. Things are starting to wind down. I'm going to try to be back again tomorrow sometime. But this is Maniac Tim with Maniac Sports. Once again, thank you, Megan. Thank you, Kevin. I'm sure. Thank you. Also, I'm sure is Pup Dexter. I think he's probably the one that's watching. Okay, I see I got another viewer now. Hey, how's it going? This is Maniac Tim with Maniac Sports. So any comments on the game by anybody? What did you think? And if you want to comment about your team too, I mean, Megan was very free, as we think, to comment on on the what you got the Seahawks. She's a good friend. But you know what? If we beat you, if we meet you in the playoffs, I hope we can beat you in the playoffs. Uh, but I think I'm gonna get out of here for now. Thank you guys very much. This is Maniac Tim with Maniac Sports. You guys all have a great night. All right, take care.